Good morning, everyone. The House Committee on Transportation will come to order. And I'm excited to say that if we do our business here today and we don't have any surprises, that this might be our last meeting for the session. So I almost don't want to say like it's kind of like saying it's not going to snow, to say we won't get any surprises. But this committee has done really excellent work. I want to thank, and I'll probably say something at the end too, but I do want to take a minute to thank all of you and our subcommittee chairs for the great work you've done. Okay, so starting off, we're going to take roll. So please indicate your presence on your voting board. All right. Clerk will close the roll. We have a quorum. All right. So the first order of business for this committee are going to be companion bills that are identical and uncontested. So we're going to take these up in a block. I will read through what the bills are, but if anyone wants to pull any of these from a block, please push your button and let me know. So in the block, we have SB 150, patroned by Senator Sutterline. This bill is identical to HB 15, patroned by Delegate McNamara. It passed the Senate 40-0. It passed McNamara's bill passed the House 19-0, and I so move. Next is Senate Bill 205, patroned by Senator Diggs. This is toll invoices by mail. I should have said the previous one. I'll go back because I didn't say its content was warning light units increases from 2 to 4 the number of flashing or steady burning red or white combination warning lights. That was the Sutterline McNamara bill. Okay, so moving back to SB 205 by Senator Diggs. This authorizes use of trackable correspondence equivalent to certified mail for sending invoices for unpaid tolls to a vehicle owner prior to the Department of Motor Vehicles placing a registration stop on such vehicle due to unpaid tolls. Again, this bill passed the Senate 40-0. It's identical to HB 1109, patroned by Delegate Watts. It passed the House 100-0, and the Senate 40-0. Next, we have SB 210, patroned by Senator Locke. This is the bill that is a special license plate for the 250th anniversary of the American Revolution, identical to HB 840 by our own Delegate Austin, passed the Senate 38-0 and passed the House unanimously, and I so move. Next is SB 323, patroned by Senator Jordan. This designates the bridge on Otterdam Road over Interstate 95 in Greensville County as the Percy Lee House III Memorial Bridge. This is identical to House Bill 92, patroned by Delegate Waxman. Passed the Senate 40-0 and passed the House 98-0, and I so move. Senate Bill 353, patroned by Senator French. This is commercial driver's licenses and commercial learner's permits, conforms the definition of commercial motor vehicle to federal regulation, codifies the entry-level driver training system required by federal regulations, and removes some contradictory provisions. It's identical to HB 844 by Delegate Austin, passed the Senate 40-0 and the House 100-0, and I so move. Next, we have Senate Bill 452, patroned by Senator Marsden. This bill permits the recertification of independent dealer operators by passing an examination administered by the Department of Motor Vehicles. This is identical to House Bill 1106 by Delegate Wyatt, passed the Senate 40-0 and House 100-0, and I so move. Senate Bill 534, patroned by Senator Bagby, changes the deadline for a vehicle manufacturer, factory branch, distributor, or distributor branch to reject the sale or transfer of a dealership for 30 days prior to the effective date of the sale or transfer to 60 days from the receipt of notice from the dealer of the proposed sale or transfer and list requirements for such notice from the dealer. It also provides that an objection to the sale or transfer based on an applicant's years or of motor dealer management experience is a reasonable objection, but removes the right to object based on other applicant qualifications. This is identical to Delegate Austin's HB 191, passed the Senate 40-0, House 100-0. I so move. Next, we have Senate Bill 545, patroned by Senator Bagby. This clarifies the databases to be searched by the Department of Motor Vehicles upon notification by an auto recycler that he possesses a motor vehicle to be demolished but does not possess certificate of title, salvage certificate, or non-repairable certificate of such motor vehicle. This is identical to Delegate Wyatt's 1112, HB 1112, passed the Senate 40-0 and the House 99-0, and I so move. And finally, in this block, we have Senate Bill 732, patroned by Senator Pillion. This authorizes law enforcement agencies to utilize a contracted service provider to forward crash reports electronically to the Department of Motor Vehicles and manage or disseminate copies of such crash reports as authorized by law. This is the same as HB 1409 by Delegate Reed, passed the Senate 39-0 and the House 100-0, and I so move. So these have been moved in a block. Is there a second to report? Clerk will open the roll, and we will report these in block if no one objects and wants to pull one. All right, the clerk will close the roll. The bills report 21-0. All right. So next in our docket, a full committee to hear are the companion bills. These have not been, that are similar. These have not been heard on a subcommittee because we have heard them previously because they are similar to other House members. So first we have SB 151, patroned by Senator Sutterline. First we have, I might want to make sure I do this procedurally correct. We need to adopt a substitute. So we have a substitute that is to fix a technical issue and then also make Senate Bill 151 identical to Delegate Runyon's HB 1224. Do I hear a motion to adopt the substitute and conform the bill? Moved and seconded, although that's in voice vote, correct? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Okay, the bill is conformed. If this bill reports favorably, which it what did pass unanimously, it needs to go to appropriations. So the motion we need is to report and refer to appropriations.
Move to report and refer to appropriations as a substitute.
All right. Second. Moved and seconded. The clerk will open the roll. Okay. Clerk will close the roll. The bill reports. Okay, next we have SB 246, patroned by Senator McPike. This bill is identical to Delegate Lopez's HB 1454. This passed the Senate 21-19, and it passed the House 55-44. This extends the validity of limited duration licenses, driver privilege cards and permits, and identification privilege cards other than real ID credentials and commercial driver's licenses with permits.
Move to report.
Second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded. Clerk will open the roll. Clerk will close the roll. Bill reports 13-8. Next, we have Senate Bill 453, patroned by Senator Marsden. The action we're going to take on this is to conform it to Delegate Watts' HB 213.
So moved.
All right, it's been moved and seconded. This is a bill that increases from $3,500 to $5,000 the amount of the emissions inspection program coordinator and may be paid each year for the motor vehicle emissions inspection station for the provision of maintenance of each set of required equipment. This did, please note, pass the House, Delegate Watts' bill passed the House 61-37.
Madam Chair, move to report the substitute.
Moved and seconded. The clerk will open the roll. And the clerk will close the roll. The bill reports 13-8. Next, we have Senate Bill 516, patroned by Senator Williams-Graves. This bill is identical to Delegate Ward's bill. And I know Delegate Ward, we talked about this one. I just want to make sure that we're going to procedurally do what you want to do with your bill.
Yes.
We're going to pass this one in this posture, and you're accepting the Senate amendment, so we can avoid going to conference. All right, fantastic. So do we hear a motion on?
Move to report.
All right, moved and seconded. The clerk will open the roll. I don't want to accidentally send anybody to conference. All right, the clerk will close the roll. The bill reports 13-8. And next, we have Senate Bill 644, patroned by Senator Perry. This bill clarifies that the improvement of non-surface treated secondary highways includes improvements other than paving as described in the bill. The bill also clarifies that local governing body for the county receiving funds for such improvements will select the highways or highway segments to be improved after consulting with the Department of Transportation, and the project shall be designed and implemented by the county capital projects manager or the designee or the chief administrative officer of the county to the project standards. This bill amendment, we need to make Senate Bill 644 identical to Delegate Reed's HB 74. If that is...
Move the amendment.
All right, moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, so the bill is conformed, and if this bill reports, we will need a motion to report and refer to appropriations.
Second.
All right, the clerk will open the roll. Report and refer
To appropriations?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Report is amended to
As amended,
appropriations.
right?
As amended.
Because we've conformed it to HB
With amendment.
with amendments.
There you go.
Okay. Please vote on the board. All right, the clerk will close the roll. The bill reports 20-0. All right, and next we have Senate Bill 728, patroned by Senator Pillion. This bill establishes a new charter for the Cumberland's Airport Commission and repeals the current charter, which was created in 1958. The proposed charter sets out the organization of the commission and contains powers and duties typically granted for authorities. This bill does need to have a substitute to be identical to Delegate Kilgore's bill, HB 460. So do we have a motion?
Madam Chair, I move the substitute.
Is there a second? All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, the bill is conformed.
Madam Chair, I move the substitute be reported.
Okay, it's been moved to report and seconded. The clerk will open the roll to report the substitute. All right, the clerk will close the roll. The bill reports unanimously. Okay, that completes the full committee here bills that have not needed to be heard by the subcommittees after crossover because we've heard them before. And now we're going to move into some new bills that the subcommittees did some of their final work with, starting with Subcommittee 3, Delegate Reed.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And as you mentioned, we have 3 bills that we had not heard before the full committee, and these all passed out of the Senate uncontested and passed out of the subcommittee uncontested. So I'm going to go through each one of these and then recommend that we consider them as a block. So the first one is Senate Bill 6 from Senator Reeves, which provides that a person whose driver's license has been revoked for multiple convictions of driving while intoxicated may file a petition for the issuance of a restricted driver's license without having to wait for the expiration of 3 years from that date, provided that that individual has successfully completed a Veterans Treatment Court docket program, behavioral health docket, or other specialty docket. And I so move. The second one, Madam Chair, Senate Bill 158 by Senator Boysko provides that the 6 members of the Northern Virginia Transportation Authority's Technical Advisory Committee are appointed by the authority rather than appointed by localities, and that I so move as well. And the third one, Senate Bill 572 by Senator Obenshain, increases from 100 inches to 102 inches the maximum total outside width permitted for school buses, which aligns with other width standards and provides for purpose-built EV school buses, and I so move the block.
All right, the block has been moved and seconded to report these 3 bills in
Chair?
block. Yes, Delegate.
Can we make a motion to pull something out of the block?
You can request to pull something out of the block, and we will just pull it out of the block if you can let me know which one you'd like.
Can we
removed.
pull SB 6 out of the block?
Okay, we'll remove SB 6 from the block. So in the block is SB 158 and SB 572.
Correct. So,
Madam Chair, may I ask a question about one of the items?
Yes.
yes.
On 158, Senate Bill 158, do the localities want this as well? Is this generally accepted? Everyone's happy with this in Northern Virginia?
Yes, Madam Chair. What this is doing is putting into code what has been done and is what is accepted practice in Northern Virginia Transportation Authority.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Okay. So it's been moved and seconded that we have that we vote on SB 158 and SB 572.
So we'll need a block of 2 bills now.
Okay. I think Thank you. Okay.
Okay, the clerk will open the roll. The clerk will close the roll. The bills report 21 to 0. And then out of the block is SB 6.
I move to report.
Moved and seconded. The clerk will open the roll. Okay, the clerk will close the roll. The bill reports 19 to 2.
And Madam Chair, that completes my report.
Thank you, Delegate Reed. All right, next is our Subcommittee 4 report from Delegate Glass.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We're going to take the first 3 bills up in a block. I will go through them, starting with Senate Bill 66. Patron is Senator Peake. This bill is about towing without consent, so it prohibits towing and recovery operators from requiring an individual who appears to retrieve a vehicle towed to provide the towing recovery operator, in addition to payment of fees, any document otherwise authorized by law or required by law before releasing the vehicle to the individual. The subcommittee recommends reporting on a vote of 8 to 0, and I so move. Senate Bill 94, patroned by Senator Stanley. This bill prohibits tow truck drivers and towing recovery operators from causing any other person to solicit or offer towing services in any manner, directly or indirectly, at the scene of any wrecked or disabled motor vehicle upon a highway when such wrecked vehicle or disabled motor vehicle reasonably necessitates removal by a tow truck. This bill will also provide a violation of such prohibited constitutes of a Class 3 misdemeanor for the first offense and a Class 2 misdemeanor for any subsequent offense. The subcommittee recommends reporting on a vote of 8 to 0, and I so move. Lastly, we have Senate Bill 261, patroned by Senator DeSteph, requires the owner of a vehicle that is stolen, illegally used, or used without their permission and subsequently subject to law enforcement initiated tow to provide a report number and the name of the law enforcement agency receiving the report that the motor vehicle was stolen, illegally used, or used without permission of the person's consent to the towing facility where the vehicle is being stored in order to remove that vehicle without paying the towing fees and storage fees. The subcommittee recommends reporting on a vote of 8 to 0, and I so move.
Second.
All right, the bills have been moved and seconded to be reported in a block. Does anyone wish to remove any of these bills from the block? If not, the clerk will open the roll. And the clerk will close the roll. The bills report 21 to 0. Delegate Glass.
Gratitude, Madam Chair. So lastly, we have Senate Bill 336, patroned by Senator Rowan. The subcommittee recommended reporting with the substitute. What the substitute does is limited the location of high-risk intersection segments within 1,000 feet of the property of the school and provides a civil penalty to be collected at high-risk intersection segments that will be used for the Virginia Highway Safety Improvement Program. The subcommittee recommended reporting the substitute on a vote of 5 to 3, and I so move.
Thank you to Delegate Rome. I do see there are some questions. I will note we did hear this bill in subcommittee and receive testimony, but there are some questions from the full committee, and so any speakers that might like to that are here and present for this bill are welcome to be present to answer the full committee members' questions. But we're not going to receive full testimony on pro or against in the full as it was heard in sub, but we're definitely happy to answer questions and get remarks from witnesses. Delegate Austin.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Madam Chair. Madam Chair, question for the Patriot. Senator Rome, I have a problem calling you Senator. Delegate comes to mind, but I thank you for the courtesy to call last night to explain your bill to me, and I understand your passion for this bill, but to make this bill statewide, I think I have some concerns. If it were, it's open at 1,000 feet to any 4-lane intersection that is not controlled and with crosswalks. If it were if it were defined as intersections that are controlled with crosswalks, that would help me considerably. But what else you could do to this bill is make it specific to maybe your planning district and another that you may have in mind that really want this bill. And the fact that you're dedicating these fees to transportation safety, that's where the money should go. And I really appreciate your diligence on this bill and the fact that you've studied it and understand the need. So if you would, be receptive, ma'am.
So, Madam Chair, members of the committee here. So the first thing I would say, well, first, thank you, Delegate Austin, for taking the call and for talking with me as long as you did. And we've always had a very good working relationship, in the House together, and that will absolutely continue, even if we are a chamber apart. But and to address some of the questions that came up, number one, this would not, Madam Chair, affect every intersection and every four-way intersection at all. The way that the bill is written is strictly limited to intersections where there has been a fatality in a school crossing zone since 2014. So that takes a very, very large number and it brings it down to an unfortunately rising number, which is hence why we have the bill, but it makes it very manageable in that regard. The next part here is because we have now drawn this bill to existing code based on what we passed in 2020, and those of us who've been here for a while, you may remember we passed the bill that allows for speed cameras in school crossing zones in the first place, right? And that's up to 750 feet. So that's what code currently allows. This is just an extension of current code by an additional 250 feet, but in that 250 feet, there has to have been a fatality at that intersection in the last 10 years. And so I am certainly amenable, Madam Chair, to limiting that, if it helps the delegate in this case, to having a marked crosswalk be a part of that. That doesn't bother me, that's fine. Signalized crosswalk can be a little bit tricky and it won't solve the problem in my district. But at the same time, if you were to balkanize this by planning district, here's a few things that end up coming up. When I was testifying here, we had someone from Fauquier County who drove all the way down from Fauquier, from Marshall, to come testify for it. And where he lives, Fauquier, is in Planning District 9. I live in Planning District 8. Fauquier would not be covered because of that. We also had Delegate Jones, who presented his original version of the bill in transportation, and he's doing that on behalf of the city of Richmond, right? And so I think, if I remember correct, that's like a Planning District 15 that you would need from that. I would certainly defer to the Hampton Roads delegation about how they feel about it, and in Plain District 23, for example. But basically, at minimum, just to take care of Northern Virginia, Fauquier, and Richmond, you're dealing with Plain Districts 8, 15, and 9 at that point. And so I don't know how comfortable the committee is in that regard, but at the very least, I think that marked crosswalks is certainly reasonable, and I would find that to be a friendly amendment.
So, Senator, at this point, I do want to make sure we have the bill before us in the correct posture, so I do need a motion to adopt the substitute from the subcommittee. So moved. Second. All right, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, so now we do have the substituted bill before us, and then Delegate Austin's made a proposal to add a line amendment to include crosswalks, not signaled, but crosswalks. And is that a line amendment that the clerk or that the council would be able to report?
Madam Chair, the amendment would be on line 332 of the substitute. After the word intersection, we would need to say containing a marked crosswalk.
All right, and if that is considered a friendly amendment by the senator, do we hear a motion to adopt that line amendment? So moved. All right, moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, so now the amended bill is before us.
And Madam Chair, the last thing that's changed in subcommittee is the administration has taken a position, and I'd be happy to call them up.
Madam Chair, members of the committee, I'm Rachel Jones, Deputy Secretary of Transportation. First, we really want to thank the patron for all of her work to really hear the concerns of many individuals, take them very seriously, and make changes that really tailor this in a way that I think addresses a lot of those concerns while still providing additional protection for children. I live across the street from an elementary school, and the signalized intersection is roughly 100 feet outside of the school zone. And so the elementary school in front of my house would potentially be able to be protected in a better way. And it was exciting to understand that just last night after kind of working through a lot of these changes. So the administration strongly supports this particular bill as it is now, and we ask for your support. Thank you.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, Joanne Maxwell from VDOT. I just want to reflect the same comments that Deputy Secretary Jones has articulated. And just want to add that this bill is very narrowly tailored. It's data specific. It's narrowly tailored to specific areas that seem to have or that would appear to have a record of safety issues. And so for that reason, we support the bill.
Thank you. Delegate Cohen.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. Speaking to the bill.
Delegate has the floor.
I can't say how much I appreciate this bill. I know that we had the opportunity to chat about it a little bit early on, but as many folks know, in Fairfax last year, we lost a couple of children and had a horrific incident outside of Oakton High School on the last day of school. And I am really grateful the way that the school is cited. Right now we would not be able to put, we did utilize the permissive language in Fairfax County to put one as close as we could to some of the what we would call more dangerous intersections. But we've struggled without the ability to lower the speed limit even farther outside the school zone. Really struggled with a lot of our school zones, especially where for some reason we have a speed limit that increases right before you get to the school zone. So we just see this all the time. I echo the comments of the Deputy Secretary, and I think this is one of those, it's permissive language, but I think this is one of those that might wind up saving a few lives. And so I'm so appreciative. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Delegate. All right, I think we have heard the bill. We have a substitute that's been amended before us. Do we have a motion on the bill? Second. Been moved and seconded. The clerk will open the roll. All right, the clerk will close the roll. The bill reports 17-4. Thank you, Delegate or Senator. See, I'm gonna call you Delegate forever too. It's too hard. Senator, reluctantly, Senator.
Miss you too. Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you to the members, and thank you, Delegate Austin. Appreciate
Thank you. All right, so that completes the work of this subcommittee, dare I say. I would like to take a moment to very officially and formally first thank the whole committee for doing excellent work. We really got through a lot of bills and we're very efficient, and I'm proud of every member of this committee. But I really want to take a moment to thank the subcommittee chairs on this committee, Delegates Carr, Delegate Reed, Delegate Sewell, and Delegate Glass. You all ran fantastic subcommittees. I got so much amazing feedback from so many people about just the professionalism and the efficiency and the fairness that these subcommittees were conducted, and that is a testament to each of your leadership, and I am just so incredibly proud to have you as subcommittee chairs on the Transportation Committee, and really proud and thankful of the work that you've done this session. So thank you all so much.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
And also want to thank our awesome counsel, Emma Bach, for doing an incredible job as always. And then our awesome clerk, Emmy. I have Emmy and Emma, so I got by my side. So thank you to our amazing clerk and all of our clerk staff, everybody who helps these meetings run smoothly. Thank you all so much. And do I hear a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All right. Committee's adjourned. Good work, everyone.